I guess I wasn't ready. Okay. Who's here for joy? Yeah. What a great word joy is. Let's see. So the topic is resurrect your joy. And I have rise up to joy. And Maya Angelou's beautiful poem is, and still I rise, and still I rise. And as my mother said, but I'm going to replace one word, the earth shall rise again. She was a Southerner. The earth shall rise again. Yes? Yes. Okay, so Earth Day started in 1970. There was great concern for pollution and no regulations. And so it started in 1970. And I was reading all the different ways of celebrating Earth Day. And first snort. It's not going to change. It's just there, you know. It's like, I've tried, but it's too much effort. So, love me, love my snort. In San Francisco, they're riding naked on their bikes down Lombard. Isn't that cool? Sort of. I don't think I want to see it, but the picture is very tasteful. And you know Lombard Street's like this. So hoop-de-doo-dah. And Las Cruces celebrated it yesterday. All kinds of wonderful things. So, and once again, the music couldn't have been more perfect. So Marianne, Randy, and Trevor, or as I say, Jerry Garcia, Janis Joplin, and Justin Timberlake. Thank you for your music every time. You got rock in, you got joy in. And for me, the earth is all about the earth. You know, I love the dirt. I love I just saw Marcia. Just one little aside, I gave a class, the Bhagavad Gita, and it was wonderful, thanks to Bonnie and the board. And Marcia came early and stayed late and did a lot of stuff from coffee to reminding me things and getting the whiteboard. And I thank you, Marcia. She does a lot. Let's give her a hand. It's a very wonderful week for me because April 16th was the birthday of the Reverend Dr. Vitura Papke, who was my mentor and my spiritual mother. She called 5 of us her kids. She was Ernest Holmes' practitioner. And they call her 5-step Vitura because she insisted on the Thanksgiving, the gratitude step in treatment. She stood toe-to-toe with him. They were both short. Stood toe-to-toe with Ernest Holmes, or Ernie as I like to call him, and insisted for the 5 steps, which is absolutely beautiful, I think. And I used to visit her every month in Phoenix and just get filled with common sense. One of the guys in our church, I said, how would you describe her? And he said, a spicy grandmother that shoots from the hip. So her humor was great. Then the next day, April 17th, was the 35th anniversary of my ordination. Isn't that cool? So I'd like to honor, thank you. The Reverend Dr. Terry Cole Whitaker was my foundation. And I've never had a more electric, dynamic speaker in my life. So she's still in my life. We've gone different paths, but it's just one path, isn't it? We reunited in L.A. after she'd been around to different anyway. We both love Krishna. And in the Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, behold my mystic opulence. Let's say that. Behold my mystic opulence. Isn't that cool? So my first experience of rocking, shaking dedication to the earth was at the Parliament of World's Religions in Melbourne, Australia. It was huge. I think there were over 6,000 people and spiritual leaders from all over the world. And the big banner said, protect the only earth we have. big banner, protect the only earth we have. And so we gathered around the idea of the earth. And you know, the earth from outer space is just a blue ball, right? It's just a blue ball. There are no countries, no counties, no streets, no cities. It's just this beautiful blue ball. And this is the day and the time for us to really embrace the earth. I'm not going to say all the stuff that's wrong. We saw plenty of that on the plaza. And people identifying the problem and going for the solution. The problem is the way we've treated the earth. And the solution is to nurture, honor, and love her, Mother Earth. So a long time ago, this is sodalite. Does anyone know what sodalite is? It's a beautiful piece of the earth, this ball, and it's for relieving any tension and to be opening to any teaching. So I'd like you all to just hold it and bless the earth. Okay? You could just pass it around. Okay, you know what? I have heels on. It hasn't been maybe 20 years. But this skirt's long, so I had to prop myself up. And I told my friend Terry, these are 20-minute shoes, you know? And she said, I'll hold up your flip-flop in 20 minutes. What we go through, huh, girls? So at this convention in Melbourne, I met, one man held a class. His name was Dr. Bob Randall, but he's just known as Dr. Bob. He's an Aborigine, we would call medicine man. And he talked about the love for the earth and the constant connection, no disconnect from the earth for Aborigine tribes, most of them, and how they love the earth. They just love the earth, and they sing to the earth. And one woman, maybe you read about her, went to Melbourne to give an amazing speech about being a nurse in the pediatric ward. And so she was in a white wool suit and gold earrings, all that stuff. And some Aborigines said, come on with us. And it was a 4-hour Jeep ride out into the wilderness, the outback. And she walked 40 miles a day barefoot. And at the end, when they circled up around the camp, this elder lady just held her feet and sang to them and healed them. That's that vibration, isn't it? Everything's about vibration. And they're so pure. You know, it's them and the earth. Them and the earth. And she said they drove her nuts because right before dawn, they jump up and start jumping in joy. You know, jump for joy in the morning, don't you? Nah. But they jump for joy and they honor their earth. They just honor their earth. It was very inspiring to meet him. And the Aborigine word for compassion is Nanjini. Let's say that. Nanjini. Isn't that pretty? So much compassion, even for the people that invaded. So then the Dalai Lama was the last day, and he came out giggling. And this medicine woman, Aboriginal medicine woman came out, and she was draped in pelts, like of 3 different animals, just draped. And she had a beautiful bunch of eucalyptus. And it had a small animal pelt wrapped around it. And she was just beautiful. She just radiated truth. But can you imagine the Dalai Lama being handed a dead animal wrapped around the eucalyptus? He handled it so well, you know, because she gave it to him, you know, in the greatest honor that she could give him. And so he giggled and took it, and he went like this because he didn't know where to put it. And then finally he put it somewhere, and he took the little animal pelt and sat down and patted it and bounced it on his knee. He goes, is this alive? That's how he handled it. But he talked about treating the earth with love, that we are the earth is us. There's no difference. We're made out of the same stuff, right? The creative stuff from which all form comes, to which all form returns, the formless presence that we can't see, touch, or feel, but we study it, and we talk about it on Sundays, and we try to live it. And It's invisible and infinite, isn't it? So the earth, imagine the earth coming from the invisible to the visible. In Genesis, which is read by Jewish, Christian, and Muslim people, the Muslim book, the Quran, has the story of the Garden of Eden. It has David and Jesus. It's an inclusive religion. And so they all talk about the garden. And in the garden, that's where human beings started, right? In this version. So this is how it went in this book, Genesis. God said, "Let there be light for day and night." Then he said, "A firmament, waters, dry earth, grass, herb yielding seeds, and stars to light the earth." And then what's really interesting is, "Let the waters bring forth abundantly the moving creatures of the sea. Let the earth bring forth the living creatures, the beasts of the earth." So if the earth arrived, and then God, the source, manifested fish in the sea and animals on the earth, isn't that evolution? That's the way I get it. I mean, the earth was formed, and then creatures came out of the sea onto dry earth. It's just, to me, it's like, hello. It's certainly evolution to me. And then he rested 7 days, and the seventh day is Saturday. My friend Terry Sugarman here, she's been my friend for 4 years, amazing person, and I go to the temple with her sometimes. And the seventh day is Saturday. Isn't that amazing what we make up? Of course, we make up everything, right? You're making up your life right now. You made it up. Oh, I'm going to go. Oh, no, it's Sandy. So this morning, I could go on and on what's wrong with the earth and what's wrong with the people that are in control of the earth and all this stuff that declares doom for the earth. Doom for the earth. So this morning, let's take a mystic view of the earth on which we live. The mystic sees through to the truth, to God. Mystic is like a God-sniffing dog. You know, like, where's God? Where's God? Always seeing through anything to God. Like practitioners, you say your facts, and then they see the truth within you, before the facts, bigger than the facts. So what if we just see to the core of Mother Earth? What if we absolutely fan that inner flame of Mother Earth? What if we first really honor her and get in touch with her and live the best on her, for her? That would establish a frequency of love for the earth. And then you can look at the facts, and then you can decide what the solution may be. And you may be just visioning the solution or joining a group. There's lots and lots of groups that are just giving their utmost for the earth. Just really inspiring. The whole plaza full of people that are taking a stand for Mother Earth. So let's just see through to the truth of Mother Earth. There's a saying, let life live through you. Ernest Holmes taught about, excuse me, I haven't had this for 35 years, but and I've heard that Bonnie's book is about in even worse shape or better. It's actually better shape, isn't it? Yeah. They just keep meaning more, and you say, stay together, stay together. Okay, in the glossary of the Science of Mind text, Ernest Holmes writes, the Garden of Eden typifies man's original state of perfection. The garden, before the humans intervened, okay? Perfection before he began to have experience. So it was our perfect state before we had experience. Experience comes from a decision, an interpretation. You see the earth and then you interpret it. Some people will all see something different about the earth. I see Green Valley where I was raised. So before the experience of the earth was that perfect energy from which we came. So it typifies man's original state of perfection before he began to have experience. The tree of knowledge means the life principle, which can be used both ways. It bore the fruit of knowledge of both kinds of experience, good and evil, freedom and limitation. Man must choose which kind of fruit he will eat. Isn't that neat? So in Genesis, God, if you want to know one approach to food, I have given you every herb bearing seed and every tree that yields fruit yielding seed. To you it shall be for meat, or food is the translation. Is there cleaning? Oh, good. Excuse me. Thought of something funny. Then it says, behold, to every creeping thing that creeps on the earth, wherein there is life, I have given every green herb for food. So that validates my not eating flesh of corpses. And everybody has to make their own decision which fruit they will eat. So mystics sense the truth. In the dictionary, it says a person who follows, advocates, or experiences the source of life without intervention. Means without a minister, without a book, without a symbol, without a celebration, you go direct to the source. You don't need anything in between. That was part of New Thought. New Thought was, you have what it takes. It is the presence. So take the presence and just do it. It's Nike. Nike is the boldest, most mystic statement. Just do it. You know the Nike statement? Let's say it. Just do it. Yeah. And then there's Grace Slick that said, feed your head. Feed your head. Remember that one? We're feeding our heads, right? Because between our ears, my radio program is on right now, and the program's called What's Between Your Ears. And so the guests are a university professor and her two daughters, and the man who owns Beck's Coffee House, which is organic. So all around the world, people are talking about Earth Day. And what does it matter? I don't know, but this is the opportunity for us to rethink Earth, to wipe out everything we've known, and to say, I'm going to look at the Earth fresh today, before my experience, before the details of my life on Earth. I'm just going to say, what is Earth to me? And then when you know what Earth is to you, then you can take action however you want to take action, whether it's in thought, word, or deed. So listening to the earth is the most powerful experience in my life since I was a kid. I was raised in Eden. My parents gave me Eden to be raised in. It was a small little valley in Northern California, over the hill from Napa. And it was just a fruit bowl, orchards, vineyards, creek, hills, all kinds of wildlife. I brought home a snake and built a cage for him, then told my mother, I said, you want to meet Elliot? She did not want to meet Elliot. She said, get rid of it. So I let it go in the garden. And then she called everyone in Green Valley that say, Sandra has let loose a venomous snake. It was a little garter snake. So my friend and I, Jeanette, we're still friends 62 years later. We used to spend a lot of time up in the hills. We'd make forts. We'd do everything. We'd sit and listen. You know the crunch of a forest floor that has a lot of compost? We loved the hills, and they were our hills. Well, then, after a few years, the bulldozers came, the contractors came, and they started gouging out our hills. So, I was an activist in the 60s, but it started in the 50s. because Jeanette and I were guerrillas. We would go up and put gravel in the gas tanks of bulldozers. And you know those little surveying sticks with the yellow things? We tore all those up. My mistake, I put them in my closet. And one day I was downstairs, and my mother goes, Sandra. And it's like, but yeah, we did, yeah, we were activists. Did it help? No. No, I'm resisting artificial information, and it's like trying to stop the Industrial Revolution. You know, it's like, go ahead, knock your lights out. We're going this way. You could either swing with it or not. Still, for me, it's not, but I respect it. I absolutely, it's what is coming. It's what is here. So I'm learning to use my phone. That's as close as I get. Okay, so I was a nature girly. And the most amazing book, besides the textbook of Science of Mind, is this book. It's called Stillness Speaks. Stillness Speaks by Eckhart Tolle. It has everything that the power of now has in it, but it has kernels of wisdom, just pearls of wisdom. And this is what he says about his book. Would that all of us would have this about our books. A true spiritual teacher does not have anything to teach in the conventional sense of the word, does not have anything to give or to add to you, such as new information, beliefs, or rules of conduct. The only function of such a teacher is to help you remove that which separates you from the truth of who you really are and what you already know in the depth of your being. Isn't that great? My version is I'm an inner flame fanner. I just want to fan the inner flame of everything so the flame of truth blazes through any facts in the way. The only function of a teacher is to help you remove which separates you from the truth of who you already are and what you already know in the depth of your being. So we're tuning into the earth today, and we're seeing it from the innermost of our being, not from the newspapers, not from Nova, not from anything, but you and the earth. It's you and the earth as the earth. What's cool about this book is that it's chapters by topic, from who you really are, the egoic self, accept and surrender, amazing chapters. But page 77, right in this part of the book, is a whole chapter on nature. I don't usually see that in books, especially the books I study all the time. You can get it in the books. You can get it in Science of Mind. You can get it in all kinds of books we study. And yet he has nature, a whole chapter on nature. This is how it begins. We depend on nature not only for our physical survival. We also need nature to show us the way home, the way out of the prison of our own minds. We got lost in doing, thinking, remembering, anticipating, lost in the maze of the complexity of the world of problems. We have forgotten what rocks, plants, animals still know. We have forgotten how to be still, to be ourselves, to be where life is, here and now. So he mentions life, and he mentions rocks. Whenever you bring attention to anything natural, anything that has come into existence without human intervention, you step out of the prison of conceptualized thinking and to some extent participate in the state of connectedness, which being, capital B, is which everything natural still exists. To bring your attention to a stone, a tree, or an animal does not mean to think about it, but simply to perceive it and hold it in your awareness. So I have something fun to do. Unless you don't think it's fun, just don't. But we're going to sing this version of Psalm 118. This is the earth, this is the earth, this is the earth that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. This is the earth, this is the earth. We shall rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. So we're going to keep singing or just focusing, and I'd like you all to come up and choose a rock. This is earth. It was picked off the earth by me and Nancy Kennedy. So if you'll just all rise up and come around, and we'll keep singing, This is the Earth. This is the earth, this is the earth, this is the earth that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice, we shall rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the earth that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice. You could touch this one. This is the earth, this is the earth, this is the earth that the Lord has made. Okay, let's step it up. This is the earth, this is the earth, this is the earth that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. Let us rejoice, let us rejoice, let us rejoice and be glad in it. 'Cause this is the earth, this is the earth, this is the earth that the Lord has made, that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice, we shall rejoice, we shall rejoice and be glad in it, and be glad in it. This is the earth that the Lord has made. We shall rejoice and be glad in it. This is the earth, this is the earth, this is the earth that the Lord has made. Okay, just breathe in that joyful energy that we're celebrating the earth. We're celebrating its goodness. We're seeing through the details, the concerns. We go into that place of it's trust and it's love, but it's not. It's just the presence. And this is a piece of Mother Earth. I went out into a small arroyo, and my friend and I just sat and touched the rocks and noticed how different they were. And then we each picked a rock for you. Okay, so I'm going to read on. These are little blurbs, just little blurbs. When walking or resting in nature, honor that realm by being there fully. Be still, look, listen. See how every animal and every plant is completely itself. That everything in nature is just itself. There's a writer, Hinono, a Native American, and he said, I've never seen a maybe owl, or a maybe coyote, or a maybe redwood, or a maybe petunia. So I always say, we always want to be different. We're looking at people, oh, she has better clothes, she has better thing. He's better than the man I fell in love with. We're always comparing up and down, but if we don't compare and rest in who we are and go in the pure are, what we are in nature, that's it. I always say, you don't see a beautiful red rose in full bloom saying, I wanted to be yellow. Darn. I didn't want to have thorns. No, it's just a rose. It's not a maybe rose. It's not tomorrow I'll be a petunia rose. It's a rose, right? What is it saying? A rose is a rose. Okay, so you have your rock, right? This is the rock. You can come up and touch it afterwards. I love boulders. I love rocks. When I was a kid, I collected rocks. I remember my first rock was in the Stanislaus River near Sacramento, and it was white. This white rock blew my mind. And this is a rock from Nogal Canyon. The bridge that says it might be windy today. Could be. There might be wind. So we went down in the old road, the old highway went down into the canyon. Oh my God, there's red rocks that are just unbelievable, my friend and I. And I was collecting them naturally. I always collect rocks. And then I found this boulder, and it was red, and it was this big. It was this big. It was just beautiful. I said, I'm taking this. And she goes, are you kidding? And so she has a picture of me staggering to the van. She said, I don't believe you. So then my name from then on was the Boulder Troll, because I'm going. So how many people like rocks? How many people love having a piece of the earth this morning? Okay, so just a few more. Eckhart Tolle wrote this book with just little blurbs. He says, don't read it cover to cover. Put it down, pick it up. And with the little squigglies, stop and ask, is this true for me? He really gives the book to you. He has no attachment. I haven't seen him on many shows. Okay. Unlike humans, they have not split themselves in two. They do not live through mental images of themselves, so they do not need to be concerned with trying to protect and enhance those images. The deer is itself. The daffodil is itself. This is wonderful. This is about the mind. The contemplation of nature can free you of that me, the great troublemaker. So let's be with the rock. Where's my other one? Where did I put my other one? Does anyone see a gray rock up here? That is so weird. No. It's my big one from Michigan. No, that's from here. We'll find it. But I just really want you to see it, so naturally I'm attached to it, not here. Okay. So, Eckhart Tolle says, pause between the truth. So let's center right now. And connect, do a mystic experience of the core of who you are. Before you were born, you came from that, formless. You're in a form now, and you will return to the formless. So that formless essence of life, the pure, pure essence of life, before wind, before you, before the before, that presence, that creative presence that is everything, absolutely everything. From that all comes. When we tune into this essence, our thoughts rise. We think, oh, I'm not my body, I'm not my job, I'm not my hair, I'm not my relationship, I'm not my dog, I'm not anything, I'm just me. The me within me, I can't see. What I can't see is the true me. And so with the rock, just connect to earth and think about the earth being here before you. Before it was formed. That pure energy. And then see Mother Earth in all her beauty. Just one turning, beautiful blue orb in the firmament. Our home. And then, as it's turning, find New Mexico. Find the United States, find New Mexico. And then, as if you were in outer space, move on towards Las Cruces, through your mind, through your body, through your soul, standing on earth here in Las Cruces. This is a city that still has a lot of dirt roads. And then picture a little deep arroyo near Farm and Ranch Museum, and two people sitting on earth and blessing each rock we picked up. And now you have a piece of the earth. You might see yourself as a piece of the earth. What's beyond the surface of the earth? The dirt and the fire. And then just say, is there something I can think about the earth that will keep me in touch with the truth of her being? Whenever I hear anything about the earth, can I stay centered in the core, the presence, the creative spirit that the earth is? Can I choose to see that? Then from that stillness with the rock, you can hear it say, this is how you can think about the earth. This is how you can speak about the earth. This is how you can take action on the earth, for the earth. But it begins with me. It begins in centering in the essence of your being, and allow the essence of this rock, of everything you can see, touch, and feel, the essence on earth and through the earth to her essence. Okay, I'm going to read the last thing. When you perceive nature, let there be spaces of no thought, no mind. When you approach nature in this way, it will respond to you and participate in the evolution of human and planetary consciousness. Everything is consciousness. We're raising it right now. This is a group of people raising consciousness, taking a stand for the truth of Mother Earth, and making a silent pledge to do, think, say anything that you can to further her well-being. And so the last section is, nature can bring you stillness. That is its gift to you. When you perceive and join with nature in the field of stillness, that field becomes permeated with your awareness. That is your gift to nature. And through nature becomes aware of itself. Nature has been waiting for you, as it were, for millions of years. You need nature, and remember, nature needs you. We have to have a witness to arrive, right? So I thank you for listening to me today and having a little piece of earth, and to remember to rise up in joy. The earth shall rise again. We are the earth is us, we're all connected. And that's good news, yes? Let's stand up. I say yes to the earth. And again, I say yes to the earth. I say yes to the earth. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you for letting me speak, and thank you for listening and for taking a piece of the earth. Thank you.